Hi guys, how you doing? It's good to see you again. Ranger Martin here. It's Thursday again, so it's time for the Dinosaur Experience for Kids live broadcast. Had a little bit of trouble at the start there. Not sure what was going on. Don't know why it did that. Hopefully you can see me. I can see there's a few people watching. Do me a favour, if you can hear me, give me a thumbs up or a heart. And leave me a comment in the comment box wherever you're watching. Now we're live on Facebook page, Facebook group, my own Facebook page. We're on YouTube, we're on LDTV, we're on Twitter and Twitch. So wherever you're watching us live, I can see there's quite a few of you today. Do me a favour, leave a comment. Now, you may not be able to see other people's comments, but it just lets me know that you can hear me and it is actually going out. Now, also, you can leave any comments, any questions you may have. If you wanted to say hi, then please do type something into the comments bar. And at the very end of the show, like we always do, we'll do some shout outs at the end there. All right, so let's have a quick look at what we've got on today's show. Been putting in a bit of work for you today. So first thing we're going to do Guess the Dino. So we're going to have a look at a dinosaur, see how many of you guys actually know what it is. Then we do some birthday shout outs from the weekend. We're going to look at our dinosaur of the day. Our dinosaur of the day is the Ceratosaurus. Okay, and the Ceratosaurus, going to look at that guy. Really interesting. Learn a lot about him. Then a quick look at the Plaquemine Seafood Festival that we were at this weekend. Then we're going to mention some public appearances where you can actually come and see us. If you wanted to come and meet Nash and Rexy and our dinosaurs, some public appearances. Have a look at some social pages where you can find us on the web. And then we wrap up at the end there with some shout-outs. All right, so as I was saying, the first thing we normally do is we have a little look at a dinosaur. So we're going to try and see if anybody knows it. If you think you might know the answer, what dinosaur this is, then please do leave us a message there and we'll say at the end who's got it right, who's got it wrong, or see if anybody gets it. So this guy here, we have done a show on him. He is not probably the most famous dinosaur, but he's reasonably well known. He was identified by some stolen bones, and the skull and the arms were separated from the rest of the body for over 50 years, and they were eventually re-brought back together and put into a museum. He's known for his very long claws and his forearms, but it's not the Therizinosaurus. They're bigger than this guy's were. So see if you know what this guy is. If anybody thinks they know it, then put it into the comments and we'll have a look and see what we get. All right, birthdays from this weekend. Had a great weekend this weekend and a couple of birthdays that we came to. So the first one was Samuel. Samuel was 4 years old, and we brought Brutus and Nash and Rexy along to meet Samuel and all his friends down there in Baton Rouge. Had a really good time meeting Samuel and really had a great time. So thank you for inviting us there for your birthday party. We really love bringing our dinosaurs along, and I hope you had as much fun as we did. Then the second birthday was Bodie. Bodie was 5 years old in Walker there. And we had a great birthday, and there's a picture here of Bodie walking Nash and giving him a little bit of exercise before we got into the big fun and games. So Bodie and Samuel, thank you so much for this weekend's birthday parties. We really enjoyed coming to see you, and our dinosaurs really loved it. All right, dinosaur of the day. We're going to mention the dinosaur of the day today, and it was actually suggested to us by Guy from the UK. We'll talk a little bit about Guy later, but I put out a thing and said, hey, if you're thinking about a dinosaur, anybody can suggest a dinosaur, let us know. And the Ceratosaurus is what Guy suggested we did. Guy's a great guy. He watches all the shows, although probably watches them the next day. You can't watch them live because it's probably midnight in the UK. All right, so let's have a look at this guy, the Ceratosaurus. Here he is. So we know he was a carnivorous, medium-sized theropod from the late Jurassic period. And he was first described in 1884 by Othniel Charles Marsh. Now, some of you guys will remember the earlier stuff we did, I think about the Brontosaurus and the Diplodocus. And we mentioned Marsh was one of the people involved with the Bone Wars. Okay, him and the other guy were arguing over the dinosaurs and who could discover the most. This is one of the ones that he discovered, the Ceratosaurus. It was found in Portugal and also in the US. So the one that Marsh found was actually in the US, and later on they found another one in Portugal. And the name itself means horned lizard. So Ceratosaurus, we know saurus means lizard, so Cerata, it actually means horned, so that's his name, the horned lizard. Now he's been in a few movies and bits and pieces. One of the earliest movies that we came across this guy was A Million Years BC. Now some of you guys probably haven't heard of that and haven't seen it, and that's probably a good thing. As many things as you could get wrong about dinosaurs and prehistoric times, they put it all in one movie, all right? And it was called 1 Million Years BC. It was made by Hollywood. It's quite horrible. It's nowhere near factual. Most, if not all, of the things are wrong. But the Ceratosaurus, as you can see, he was actually in that movie. So some of the things that they got wrong. All right, so this was back in the days of, I think it was the late 60s, when they believed that dinosaurs stood up on their hind legs and walked around dragging the tails. And we now know that the legs are more middle, and they sort of like hang with the heads down and the tails sticking out the back. So in like a seesaw or a teeter-tot type thing, that's how we know that dinosaurs walked around. But in this movie, in 1 million years BC, they had him standing upright. They used what they called stop-go animation, and for its day, it was pretty good. You know, it was the way that they made special effects long before the days of computers. Now, the other special effects they used for some of the dinosaurs are quite, let's just say, terrible. They had a tortoise, and they superimposed it amongst the actors to make it look like it was attacking the cavemen. And they also had some lizards, and they put some like spikes on their noses and things and tried to make them look like dinosaurs. So there were so many things wrong that none of the dinosaurs looked realistic. And the fact that they put humans and dinosaurs together and called the movie 1 million years BC, there's just so much wrong with it. But anyway, that was one of the first times that we saw the Ceratosaurus. Now, he's also been in Jurassic Park. He was in Jurassic Park 3. For all of, I believe, 13 seconds of screen time. So let's have a little look. So as I said before, he was around in the late Jurassic period. So you've got the Mesozoic period, which involves the Triassic, the Jurassic, and the Cretaceous period. And this guy, the Ceratosaurus, was around at the end of the Jurassic period, about 153 to 148 million years ago, about the same time as the Stegosaurus. Okay, so that was about the same time. Now, I was lucky enough that I went to the Lafayette Science Museum a while back, and at the Science Museum they actually have this replica skull of a Ceratosaurus. So looking at a Ceratosaurus skull, the main things that we can see, so the teeth are like daggers. They're like short, small, sharp daggers, like knives, and they're built as a carnivorous dinosaur to help it to eat and bite through meat. The other thing is he has 3 horns. He has one in the middle of his nostrils, one right in the middle of his nose, and then you have 2, one either side of each eye. So he's got like what they call devil's horns above his eyes, and then one in the middle of his nostril. And if you wanted to see this skull, pop along if you're in the Lafayette area to the Lafayette Science Museum. There's a lot of dinosaur stuff there. It's a really interesting museum, and I would say it's well worth going to visit. It's very cheap as well. But I think they're only open at weekends. So the Ceratosaurus, let's have a little think about this guy. So as we know with all dinosaurs, it's difficult to say what colours they were, if not impossible. Now, Camp Cretaceous gave this guy a red colouring, a red face, and they made him, look quite bright in colours. Very possible. He could well have been. He could have been green. He could have been brown. These are the sort of things that we don't know. So the colourings of the Ceratosaurus at this current period in time, we don't know. So size-wise, he was about, there was two fossils found. The first fossil was about the size of a human, okay, about the size of an average male, about 5'10", something like that. The second one, they was quite considerably bigger. Now there's some confusion here, some argument between paleontologists of whether these are two different animals or whether one is a juvenile and one is more of an adult. Okay, so that's the thing. So most paleontologists believe that the first one found was a juvenile, the second one was an adult. So it grew to about 23 feet long, and it weighed about 1,500 pounds. So there we have it, the Ceratosaurus. What a cool dinosaur. So just to recap, he was a middle-sized dinosaur, somewhere just above the height of an average male human, about 5'10", something like that. He was carnivorous. He was a bipod, which means he walked around on 2 feet. And he was very recognisable by the 3 bumps on him. He's got a bump between his nostrils, on his nose, and the 2 above the eyes. And that's one of the main recognisable features of the Ceratosaurus there. Also, I forgot to mention, he has 4 fingers. 4 fingers on the end of his hand. That's quite rare for dinosaurs. Most dinosaurs have got 3. You know, if you think of something like I can't even think of what it's called now. The raptors, for example, they have 3. Ceratosaurus has 4. T-Rex only had 2. Although there is a really, really, really small one when you look at the bones. But really, we say T-Rex only had 2 fingers. Ceratosaurus had 4. So that's another feature that you can see on the Ceratosaurus that helps us to identify him. All right, how cool was that? Ceratosaurus. So thank you, Guy, for suggesting the Ceratosaurus. I enjoyed learning about him, and I hope you guys learned some stuff too. Now, this Sunday, or the Sunday just gone, we were actually invited to the Plaquemine Seafood Festival, where we had a great time down there. Lots of fun, meeting lots of children and junior rangers. Now, when we first turned up, it was throwing a storm. I'm telling you, it was pouring down with rain, and we were a bit worried that it was going to be a complete washout. But by the time the actual show started, about 9 o'clock, the sun had come out, the band were playing. It was a really fantastic day, and we got to meet lots and lots of junior rangers. And I've got a short video here for you guys to have a look at. Oh, that was really a lot of fun on the Sunday there. We had a great day out in the sun meeting all you young dino rangers, and it was a great pleasure to meet you guys. You all did so good. Now, talking about where you can meet us, you can come and meet our dinosaurs. Here are some of our events over the summer. We're at the next one is June the 1st at 10 a.m. at St. Peter's Branch Library in New Iberia. So if you're in the New Iberia area, then come along and see us there. We're then at Lachine Brewery in Denham Springs, just down the road from where we live. So if you're a local to us, somewhere near Denham, come along and see us there at Lachine Brewery. That is on June the 4th. 2 shows, one at 2 o'clock, one at 3:15. And then there are various other shows there going in throughout the whole of June, the whole of July. I've got some other stuff that's going to be added to there. We are talking to 2 festivals in Mississippi. Hopefully they'll be tied up by the end of this week. So for next week's live show, we'll be able to add those to the list. So that's 2 jobs in Mississippi. So if you're a dinosaur lover and you live in the Mississippi area, keep an eye out for that. And also we have got something really exciting happening on August the 20th. Write it in your calendar. Put it in the date. I can't really announce it just yet, but it's around the Hammond area. If you're living in Hammond or you live around the Hammond area, it's a one-off thing. August the 20th. It's going to be real special. I'm really excited about the whole thing. Something we haven't done before. It's a build on stuff we've done before, but something brand new in a great venue, and I'm really, really busting to tell you about it. So write it in your calendar now. August the 20th in the Hammond area. Try and keep that date free. We've got something really special that we're going to be announcing maybe next week. As long as everything goes to plan, it should be good. All right, so that's where you can find, or some of the dates you can see us. And later on, we'll have a quick flick around the web and I'll show you where we have that posted. Okay, so we can do that. But one of the things that I love about doing these live shows is it gives me a chance to get to know you guys, the dinosaur rangers, you young guys, and how much you love dinosaurs. And it's really special when we get some interaction. And I got a question from this guy, from Guy. And you can see he loves his dinosaurs, reading his book there. His mum sent us that picture. And he had a question. He asked, why do a lot of dinosaurs have bumps on their back? What a fantastic question. What a really, really, really good question, Guy. So I did some research and I thought, well, let's discuss it. Let's see what we can find out. Now, the truth is, we don't really know. That's the honest answer. We don't know why they had humps on their back. But I've got some examples here of dinosaurs that did have, and we're going to talk about some of the things and some of the reasons that they could have. So here we've got the Spinosaurus, we've got the Dinochirus, we have the Omegachaurus, and the Concavenator, okay, in that order. And you can see all of these dinosaurs in some way, shape or form have got humps on their back. Now, there's some discussions about what they used them for and how they could be used. And the truth is, we're never going to know, or it's very unlikely we're going to know a definitive answer. So all we can do is look for evidence of what they may have been used for. So some of the suggested uses. The first one, heat regulation. Thermoregulation, as they call it. So the idea is that the sail on the back could be used for basically blood would go up against the bone through the veins, and as it was out in the open air, it would be helpful to cool down, and then it would go back into the body system. So it would be like a cooling system. Similarly, if it was cold, it could be used the other way. So if they find a sunny spot, the blood would go up, it would be cooked or heated up against the bone there, or against the thin skin, warm it up, and it would help to keep the body temperature the right temperature. So that's the first suggested theory, heat regulation. Second suggested thing would be display. It's thought that the dinosaurs could use these humps on their backs as a display or a deterrent. So it could be used either to attract a mate, to let people know that it's part of the same tribe, if you like. You know, I'm the same kind of dinosaur as you are. Or it could be brightly coloured to help attract a mate. That's the second theory. The third theory, it could be used for food reserves. Okay, thinking about if they're living in a hostile environment, maybe lots of sun or lots of cold, food's not readily available. It's a way of storing, or a place that they could store food, normally in fat reserves, that sort of thing. Another example would be camouflage. That's another theory that people have put forward. They could use it as part of a camouflage. And the last theory, as a sound device. Okay, that's another thing that they thought possibly that these ridges on their backs could be used in sound displays. Now, as we said before, when it comes to studying dinosaurs and trying to find out what dinosaurs were all around, it's quite a good idea to look at modern animals and what we have here. So let's have a look at this first example I've got here. So this guy here, he is a crested chameleon. Now we know for a fact that this guy uses the spines on his back to help him regulate his heat. That's what he uses it for. He uses his spines on his back to either heat him up or cool him down. So that's one of the first examples that we were talking about, thermoregulation. The second animal I've got here is a crested lizard dragon. Now, whilst these aren't on his back, you can see that he's using the thing around his head and his face to make himself look bigger, make himself look more aggressive. It's sending a message without actually making noise. He's saying, I'm big, I'm vicious. You don't want to come near me because I'm dangerous. And that's one of the things that we believe that maybe the dinosaurs could have been using. Now, if you look at this guy, he'll probably remind you of the Dilophosaurus in the Jurassic Park movie that Spielberg gave us. Now, we know that Dilophosaurus never had this neck frill. Never had it. Okay? Or it's very unlikely that it had it. I can't say never because it's not, we can't prove factually. But it's very unlikely that it had it. But this is one of the ideas we believe that Steven Spielberg got the idea for the Jurassic Park version of the Dilophosaurus. But as you can see, here is a good example of modern day animals using it as a display. And in this case, probably to deter a threat, but they could also use it to attract a mate. The next image I've got is a bison. Okay. Now, I could have used a camel. I was thinking about a camel, but I thought, no, I'll use a bison. And we know that the humps on the bison's back are made of very fatty reserves. And that's because in the winter, where these animals live, out in Montana and that sort of area, it's very cold, very snowy. There's not a lot of food around. And throughout the summertime, and where there's copious amounts of food, they eat as much as they can, and it gets stored in the hump in their back. So there's a third reason, or third proof, that animals today use their humps for food storage. The next image I have here, this guy is a lizard. It's a basilisk lizard. And you can see that he's using his frills on his back, the humps on his back. He's using it for camouflage, like we discussed earlier. So it's quite possible that some of the smaller dinosaurs with these little humps on their back probably used it as camouflage. It would help them to blend in with the trees or the bushes or the leaves or wherever they happen to be. So there's an example of a modern day animal using the humps on his back as camouflage. And the last one I have here is a rattlesnake. And we know that the rattlesnake uses the dead skin on the end of his tail there to make noise. He rattles it as a warning to say, stay away. Okay. And if I go back to this image, let me go back up here. If I go back to this image here, you can see the bottom left dinosaur there. There is a theory. It's pretty much been denied at the moment, but there is a theory that that guy used to shake his arm, shake his head and his neck and rattle those bones together at the top of his head and use it as a warning signal or as a noise to let others know that he was there. So that's another. If we come back to this one, the rattlesnake is another example of modern day animals using their skin, basically, to give us a warning signal. So there, as I said, when we're thinking about dinosaurs and what they used to do and how they used to live, it's really important as Benjamin Berger, the paleontologist who we interviewed, told us, to look at modern day animals and try and work out what they do and the possible uses that dinosaurs may have. All right, so isn't that cool? That was a really great question, Guy. Thank you so much for asking that question. It made me do a bit of research, made me do some thinking. I'm not sure exactly if everything was right there. What do you think? What do you think, guys? Do you think it was used as a weapon, as a warning system? Did they use those humps for noise? Was it for storage? Was it for the heat regulation? Or was it a mixture of all of them? You know, some of the big dinosaurs probably used it for heat regulation. The smaller ones, maybe camouflage. You know, who knows? Who knows? But they're the theories that we believe most of those animals did. And once again, Guy, thank you so much for taking part. And if you guys want to take part and got questions, please feel free to send them in, and we'll try and answer as many of them as we can as we go through. All right, so I wanted to go and show you some of the places where you can find out about us. So this is the Dinosaur Experience for Kids Facebook group. So kids, if you want to get your parents to go on the Facebook group, look for the Dinosaur Experience for Kids Facebook group. Okay, and look for this image here. It's got kids on it. Okay, and on this one, this is where you guys can upload your pictures. So we've got one here of somebody's daughter with a dinosaur blanket. How cute is that? Some questions here. Then we've got Guy looking through his book. And there's some other stuff on here. So the Dinosaur Experience for Kids, this is a really good page for you guys. I created it especially for you guys to add your stuff to, so you can add it and show us any pictures, ask any questions that you may have there. All right, and then pinned at the top here, as you can see, these are our public events. Another page you can go to, the Dinosaur Experience Facebook page. Okay, now the difference between the group and the page, the group you guys can get involved with, the page is where I upload stuff to let you know what's going on in the business. So again, pinned to the top, all of our public appearances. Now I'll update that as we get more added, but if you wanted to see where we're going to be over the summer, come to our Dinosaur Experience Facebook page. That's where you'll see the latest information as it gets updated. All right, let me just refresh this, and then when I refresh it, you should see our live page come up here so that I know it's working at least. All right, so there we have the Dinosaur Experience Facebook page. As you come down, here we are. Here's our live show here, and you can just see I've just reset it there. All right, so that's the Dinosaur Experience Facebook page. If we come here, this is the dinosaurexperience.com. So this is our website. Now, this is where you wanted to come if you had a birthday inquiry, if you wanted us to come to your birthday, if you wanted to come to a festival, if you wanted us to come to your school, your pre-K, or your summer camp. We still have some openings available for summer camp. It's filling up. June's pretty much done, but we do have some openings in July and June afternoons maybe. If you're local to where we're going to be. So if you want to get in touch with us here, you can do. If you click on where it says more here, you'll see we've got Rex's Tales and TDE Kids Live Show. Let me click on the live show, and it's going to take us to all of our live shows that we've done. Okay, so the last one last week's was the Parasaurolophus, and then we've got all of them down here, and if we click on load more, it'll go right back to number 1, which was fossils. So here are our 25 shows. You're watching the 26th show now, and that's where you can find out all about us. The last one I want to show you is our YouTube page. Please do come and join our YouTube page. All the videos that we have come up here. So all our live shows, the Rex's Tales, we've got ideas for birthday parties, we've got museums we've visited, there's some birthday parties on here. All of the stuff is on here. When you do come here, please like and subscribe. Same as on Facebook, like and subscribe. You can see here we have 87 subscribers on YouTube, not bad. On our Facebook page, we've got over 10,000 now. And let's have a look. So on our Dinosaur Experience for Kids, 1,100. So 1,100 on the kids page. And then on the Dinosaur Experience Facebook page, we have 10,041 people following us. So thank you so much for following us. And this is where you can see our live shows as well. Another thing I wanted to mention, our podcast is available. It's available on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and all the major players. Now, I know some of you guys, in fact, most of you guys, listen to the podcast through Facebook. I got an email yesterday telling me that Facebook is taking away podcasts. So if you follow our podcast through Facebook, at the end of June, it's going away. The podcast is still going to be there, so please do come and find us on either Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. You can ask Alexa, you can ask Siri, ask them for the Dinosaur Experience podcast. Look for us and please subscribe, okay? That's where you can find the Dinosaur Experience podcast. And as I said, Facebook's taking it away. I don't know why, but they obviously weren't getting much feedback from it. I loved it, to be honest. I thought it was great. And that's where most of you guys were actually listening to the podcast, I noticed. All right, coming to the end of the show now. Gone over 30 minutes. I try and keep it around 30 minutes. Thank you guys so much for watching. So, dinosaur. I'll guess the dinosaur. That's what I was trying to say. Guess the dinosaur. Let me have a look. Nobody actually got it. It's actually the Dinosaurus. Okay, it's the Dinosaurus. That was our dinosaur. The Dinosaurus. Just trying to see. We had a message come up here. Unfortunately, it says Facebook user. Oh, I know where it'll be. Let me just see if I can see. If for some reason Facebook doesn't let me see who leaves comments unless you give permission, but I'm going to just go onto my Facebook page, my own personal page, and see if the message is there. And it should show me who it is if it is. Nope, it's not there. All right, well, let me bring it up anyway. All right, Facebook user. I hope it's close to me I hope it's close in Mississippi. Me too. Watch next week's show, and we'll put it on our thing, and we'll announce where it's going to be. Thanks for watching, whoever you are in Mississippi. I'll try and find out. Please, when you leave messages, leave the name at least, and you know, any kids' ages and that sort of thing, and then we can give you a good shout out. All right, guys, that's everything I have for you today. I hope it was beneficial. I hope you learned something. I hope it was interesting. Thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot to us. And for the guys who watch later on YouTube, for you guys watching now, I know we get like 50, 100 watches on YouTube after the live show. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Ranger Martin from the Dinosaur Experience. We're based in Watson, Louisiana. We'll come to you if you ask us to come. Anywhere in the US. We've worked in Kansas. We've worked in Kentucky. We've worked in Nashville. We've worked in Florida. We've worked in Mississippi. Most of our work is in Louisiana. But if you want us to come, drop us a line and we'll see what we can do. Any schools, libraries, summer camps, hope to see you very, very soon. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. Bye-bye.